comment that SCI has been doing this for some time, so I'm thinking next year we might want to do an RFP.
Yes, we can talk about that. Any other questions? And you call for the vote, I think we do this. Okay. So can we read the resolution first?
Yes.
Would you like me to do that? Sure. Next, this is resolution number 2019-05 of the Board of Directors of Cameron Park Community Service District from March 20, 2019. The resolution directing preparation of the engineer's report for the continuation of the landscape and mining assessment district, unit numbers 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, and 50. Streets and Highway Code, Section 22, 22.
That's it.
So we, by poll vote, we'll take a poll vote. Ready?
Okay. I'm sorry, ma'am. Someone move to
Move to adopt resolution.
adopt that.
I'll move to approve resolution 2019-05 as read by Director Moore.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Director Moore? Yes. Director Scobie? Yes. Director Woodson? Yes. Director Morrison?
Yes.
Director Collins?
Yes.
Okay, that resolution is passed with 5 votes. Then we will go ahead to number 9.
Margaret, you forgot to bring that out to the public.
Yeah. Oh, I did say that. Would anybody in the public like to speak on this?
Yeah, I'm questioning, I think you might have mentioned this just now, Dr. Scobie, and I didn't quite hear about, we've used SCI for, is that what you were saying, that we consistently use SCI? Well, first of all, we don't have a choice in this, right? This is manual. We have to use this engineering study here. Are there any other companies that do this? I know SCI is probably the biggest in the state. Are there any other companies that will do this study?
There are other companies that do these studies, and so you're absolutely correct that this is a good company to go out or a good project to go out and bid on. When I arrived and the new staff was put into place, there are a lot of companies that this district has historically used for a number of years. So what we're trying to do is prioritize those projects that we want to go out and competitively bid on, because it does take effort and time on our part, so we're trying to manage our workload. We just completed an RFP process for our activity guide, and so that was something that we had done. Terry tried to get that a new look. I know that Vicki and I have talked about going out for a new auditor. We felt that that was very important to go out for a new auditor once we get these next audits wrapped up to go out for that. So SCI is on our radar that we need to do that with.
Thank you. Any other comment? And I will make sure and go out for the meeting. Number 9.
Number 9 is for your consideration, a resolution directing the auditor of El Dorado County to levy and collect assessments for enforcement of the CC&R. So again, this is the kickoff resolution, and this is, yes, we have a budget, and we can go through this budget process. We have charged $12, which is the maximum that we can charge on a parcel on an annual basis. So whereas the LLAs, there's a little bit more, I don't know very much. The flexibility is the right word, but there's maybe a little bit more variance, whereas this is kind of more of the $12 is kind of more historical fixed cost. That makes sense.
Is that based on an ordinance that was passed here, or is that on state law, or what?
Yeah, it's an ordinance that was passed here. She's in the ICE, she probably can tell you what year that ordinance was. Oh, it is, okay.
So it's fixed until we go to change.
Right, it goes out to a maximum of $12. So I think that it took us several years to get to the $12, but it's been $12 and that's at $12. I think a couple of years ago it dropped to 10 for a year, and
So the maximum right now, do we spend more than what's in the CCNR budget than or less?
There is a fund balance in the CCNR, and I divided my $1,000. So there is a fund balance in the CCNR that I would say a fair fund balance. We budget $25,000 a year for legal fees. If we were to pursue something significant and through our CCNRs, that fund balance would be pretty much all of it.
Any other questions on the board? Does the community have any comments on this?
I was just trying to remember, something happened with this a few years back where we failed to direct the auditor to collect it, or we directed him to collect the wrong amount.
We directed him to collect a particular amount,
A particular amount that wasn't.
but the general manager failed to reply when asked, is this in fact what you want to do?
Okay, proper confirmation, yeah.
It was,
All right, that's covered.
So now we are back to the $12. Is that what the vote, the board votes on it?
$12 well spent.
For everybody?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and read the resolution and get a motion. Okay. I'll be happy with it. The resolution number 2019-06 of the Board of Directors of the Cameron Park Community Service District, March 20, 2019, directing auditor of El Dorado County to levy and collect assessments for fiscal year 2019-2020. Resolution authorizing covenants, conditions, and restrictions assessment district for 2019-2020. That's good for the board. Do I have a motion to accept this resolution? Thank you, Director Wooten, and a second.
I'll second.
Director Carlson, second.
Okay.
And the call vote.
Director Moore?
Yes.
Director Scobie?
Yes.
Director Wooten?
Yes.
Director Morrison? Yes. Director Paul? Aye.
So if the resolution passes with a 5-0 vote. Thank you. Let's go on to number 11. And this is the purchase of 2 Ford F-250 utility trucks for fire department. So,
And Jed helped us write this report. All the stuff is on it.
This is for the purchase of 2 F-250 utility trucks for the fire department. We are going to pay cash for these 2 trucks. They were in our mid-year budget. These are an upgrade for the current 150s that we have at the fire district at this time. We are doing the upgrades due to the weight of equipment that is installed in the trucks after the purchase and the higher reimbursement rate from OES when assigned to the fires. We're recommending the purchase of the 2 trucks.
Is there any questions from the board?
I have a comment.
Director Scobie?
My comment is that the use of these for our battalion chiefs, it makes sense to me. But if we are going to be using them heavily on our weed abatement or driving excessively around town, we might want to consider our fuel efficiency and look into an additional vehicle. This is something I was just going to bring up in budget management. But I just want to make a comment on that.
So, can you talk about the decision to pay cash instead of finance?
We have the budget in the mid-year budget to go ahead and pay cash. And for me, it makes sense to pay cash and not finance out.
I agree. I just didn't know if there's any other reason that you thought that cash. It does come out of the general fund in the end because that's part of our capital improvement. So,
And it was budgeted.
So, once the original trucks that the fire department has now will go to the parks department, and which trucks will be retired out of the parks?
I don't know that we've done a complete assessment on that. It may be that we just retire one truck instead of two trucks because we're short one truck now. So. And we'll come back and surplus it, so all of the, any major equipment has to be surplus approved, so if we retire it, we'll go back to the board as well. With anything else that we find in the park shop that may need to be retired.
Okay. Basically, Chief, you see these two trucks are really just an essential part of the operation. I mean, they're just basic, what we need to do. The 120,000 miles is acceptable already for the current trucks that we have. Correct.
Correct, yeah, these are used daily. You know, myself and Chief Smith responding on the calls and as they get older, and then also to replace our utility vehicles that we also use that are all-purpose that go out in fires in the summertime that the captains will take out and for training and everything else. So they're used. All the vehicles are used just about daily out there. So.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and go out to the community. Do we have any questions?
Just a simple question, is that, are these new vehicles? Are they used vehicles?
Be two brand new Ford F-250s that we will replace, and that will be frontline trucks. The two trucks that we have that myself and Chief Smith are currently driving now will become, we refer to them as utilities at Station 89, and then the two utilities that we currently have will be passed down to the Parks Department.
Is there a channel that you're purchasing through where it's more financial beneficial buying new versus a year or two old, knowing that
Right, we can't.
you drive them off?
That was our next actually go over the podium,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I've not been diligent.
That's all right.
If you have a good point, you want to hear it. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Drew.
I'll reinforce too, though, for the directors, we sometimes can't hear you with the mics. You need to eat them for us to hear you. Sorry, old tech guy. What is the fiscal rationale for purchasing new versus 1 or 2 years old where you're knocking off some of that, you know, it's $5,000 less what you track on, a lot kind of idea.
One is the warranty factor that comes with it, and two, we're able to get on the DGS contract for downtown Ford, so we get them at the government rate and fleet government pricing, which is significantly lower than what any of us would just go out and buy the same pickup.
Perfect.
Make a walk.
You walk all the way over here to ask one simple little question. If I gotta do it, you gotta do it. I know. Is there a particular mileage that, for instance, CAL FIRE recommends replacement of vehicles?
It's between 100 and 120,000 for light trucks. Yeah.
That's the
As a
one
front
that
line, yes,
the light is gone.
correct.
All right.
Thank you. Any other questions? It seems to me that the 37,000 for the Ford is a pretty reasonable price. That's what it is.
Yeah, I was significantly surprised at the difference between Ford, Chevy, and Dodge on that, and I think that has to do with the DGS contract with Ford right now. They're pretty good.
Okay, any other comments from the directors, and then we need to vote on the resolution?
The DGS is the Department of General Services for the state.
Very call. Okay. So should we read the resolution, maybe? Thank you. Resolution number 2019-07, Board of Directors, Cameron Park Community Service District for March 20, 2019. Resolution to approve the purchase of 2 utility trucks and grant general manager authority to approve all necessary purchase documents. This is on a road, this is a, not a road, it's a regular
By
road.
the way, you want this done.
Okay, do I have a motion from the board?
I'll move.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Director Carlson moved and Director Stokes second. All those in favor? Aye. That's 5-0 vote, thank you. All right, next is the number 12, public hearing. Second reading and approval of ordinance number 2019-03, trying to restrict outdoor residential business.
So, last month, we were here to discuss a proposed ordinance that would change an ordinance that was originally approved in 2000 that established burning, restricted burning in residential lots less than an acre to 2 weeks in November and 2 weeks in April. What we discussed last month is taking the 2 weeks in November and moving it to December. So the proposed ordinance that we discussed last month has residential burning on acres of less than on residential lots of less than an acre can take place 2 weeks in December and 2 weeks in April. Since after your board heard it and asked staff to publicly notice it, we put it in the newspaper, we posted it here at the district, and the fire department could have had it as well. And so we did our public noticing, and we're back to have this public hearing about the ordinance.
Did we receive any feedback from the community administrators?
No.
Okay, there's no questions. Is there any questions from the board members?
It's less than an acre that is fixed, so makes sense.
I was wondering if the fire department heard anything regarding this?
We did not receive any feedback during that time.
Would anybody from the community like to speak on this? Okay,
Carol?
seeing none, let's go ahead and bring it back to the board for,
Just for the record, we should open the public hearing and then you can hold comments if they don't close it.
so I'm officially opening the forum public hearing for a feedback on the resolution that is the ordinance for restricting outdoor residential burning.
Ordinance.
It's an ordinance. So I'm opening the hearing for the community to respond to the ordinance number 2019-0320 to restrict outdoor residential burning. Is there anybody who'd like to speak? Mr. Wolf?
As I understand, this is, and I did respond to some issues that have been brought up at one of the meetings that discussed was going to be in December and April, and somebody suggested that maybe we should have a once-a-month. And I was vehemently opposed to that. As I understand, this is going to be, we've got it now in November and April, we'll just move it back to December because we have a longer fire season now. Okay, and so we're going to have the same, it's going to be the same restrictions that we got right now. It's just we're changing from November to December and then continue on in April because we consider those to be higher humidity months. Is that correct? Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure that we're not adding any days, we're not doing once a month, anything like that. Thank you.
And just Gerald's comments, I believe, were at the fire committee and then also for that.
Anybody else in the community who'd like to speak on this? If not, we will close the public hearing.
Okay, so I'll move to approve ordinance number 2019.
I'm sorry, do we read it? I just want to say something.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I just want to say I really appreciated the conversation that we did have at the last meeting about this. And I understand the reasoning for moving it from November to December. I do have my concerns that December may actually in the end have less days that can be used. But the beauty of local government is that we can change the ordinance again in the future if need be. So I'm really pleased because I did listen to several of the committee meetings on CD, and I'm really pleased with all the work that's been done to reduce fuel in the community. I know we have a lot more work to do, but I'm feeling like a lot of progress is being made. So I just appreciate all the conversation and the input that we have on this. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, Director Morrison?
So, thank you for those comments. I move to approve ordinance number 2019-03.20. I
by full vote. Is it a full vote?
It should be.
Yes, okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
So Director Morrison moved and Director Reed second.
Okay, ready? Director
Do we
Moore?
have to read it first? Or did you read it? I'm sorry, what is a full vote somehow different?
Yeah, I did. Instead of just an aye or nay, by vote, every one of them.
Okay, but it's still a majority.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
It's just certain actions require a full vote rather than a voice vote.
So do we need to read anything, like here or anything else?
No motion's been made.
Okay.
Correct.
Director Moore?
Yes.
Director Stokes? Yes. Director Wooten?
Yes.
Director Morrison?
Aye.
Director Collins?
Aye.
Okay, the ordinance is passed with a 5-0 vote. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move on to number 13, vote for El Dorado Local Agency Formation Commission, LAFCO representative.
So, LAFCO is filling a seat on their commission, and I believe that the board in the past nominated Holly Morrison to sit in for that seat. She has done so, and so have 2 other candidates. I will let you know that the additional resumes were buried in the email, and so we apologize that they didn't get in your packet. They're fairly short, so if you want to take a minute to read them before you take that motion, that would be cool.
So before you do that, I just want to clarify. So we vote as a board on whom to move forward, correct?
Yes, and we make sure.
And then we also do not have to move forward 2 people. We can just vote one and move that one person forward. And then we put 2 people.
So,
So it's totally up to us.
And then does Holly have to recuse herself?
I can vote for myself. She's elected. So we'll take a minute to go ahead and read, but I just wanted to bring that up.
And do people understand that concept of only moving one person forward?
Well, this is my understanding, and that is if you move one person forward, then that one person will get the vote.
Right.
Where if you bring forward 2 people, 2 different people will get the vote.
Correct.
Because they vote in structure, if you read the packet, where if there's a tie with the first vote getter, the second vote getter
Yes.
has to do the second.
Right.
So it would be, my recommendation is put one forward.
I actually understood it differently. I did read the packet, and I understood we could vote for one as first preference and 2 as a second, and then voting for a second would not impact, would not reduce the chances of one receiving.
I read it the other way. I remember the last time we voted for Director Morrison,
So if I can just read from the memo.
This is giving you, what is the ranking you're giving for each one of the 3?
Do you mind if I read from the memo?
That's what I'm looking at.
I'm looking at, it's called page 2, it's called El Dorado LAFCO Memo, attachment 13A, and the 3rd or 4th paragraph. Please note that there are 2 seats that are up for election. Hold on, I lost my place.
Go to, Director Morrison, 13A has the vote.
Ranking additional candidates will not help defeat, your first choice candidate. So just as long as you mark a 1 for 1 and 2 for 2, so it's okay to vote for only one person, however, ranking additional candidates will not help defeat your first choice candidate.
Oh, right, because
We got to be in May.
I mean, I think that the way that I read it and the way that I understood it, and I'm not sure how it's been done in the past, is that if you acknowledge here is our first candidate and here is our second candidate, I believe that that is an appropriate way to move forward and wouldn't reduce the chances of the first candidate. So, again, I'm a little, I don't know how it was presented in the past, but from what I've read, it would be appropriate to call out a person and edit.
Yeah, and then on page 5 of attachment 13A, they're first going to count everybody, they're going to count how many number ones each candidate got. Yeah, there is. And if there's not enough, then they're going to go ahead and look at the number 2 after that. So it's
Thanks for the clarification. I think that says here, it's just that the person who's eliminated out of the 3, it's just the first, they would be for their second choice. Whoever voted for that actually helped get 2 people. Looks like. Not necessarily, but.
Is there any further information available to help us decide on these candidates besides the resume?
I know Michael Saunders, and I think he's a good candidate. And I think all he's good candidates, so.
Now, we were requested to provide whatever information that we wanted to as to our participation in so people can read the information.
Well, I don't see a reason why we shouldn't grant all 3 of them. Of course, Halloween is one.
I think they only want us to mark a 1 and a 2. Oh, no, you're right. You can do 3. Can I make a motion?
Yes, you can, unless there's somebody who'd like to go out to the community who'd like to speak on this issue.
You can vote basically for all 3 according to this page, so not those pages.
But we have to vote as a body. So I would move to put Holly Morrison as number 1 and Michael Saunders as number 2. That's what I would like to see, but I realize I'm the only person who.
Wow.
We'll vote.
There's a full room.
I think Mike left the room.
Wow. We have never had that.
No, I want to point this out for the speakers.
So you're pointing out that way?
Yeah, it starts to pick up.
Wow.
And previously, that was what we deal with.
Duncan, now we know. Thank you, Eric. Thank
Wow.
you.
Once again,
Keep the mic.
Okay, so I didn't see that anybody in the audience was uninterested in speaking on this topic, so we'll bring it back to the board and have discussion. And there's a motion on the table for a Holly Morrison vote number 1 and a Michael Sanders on number 2. Would you like to add to that the name Michael Phillips number 3?
Yes, that was something I was going to suggest we amend Felicity's motion by adding Michael Sung in as number 3.
Do we have a, I guess a second on that? Do we have a second? Director Carlson moves. I'll second.
You're seconding
The
Felicity, or
first
the
second.
one?
Okay, for clear, if you want.
So we're going to first step.
Yeah.
All right.
It's on Mike, I think Eric fixed it.
I'm giving you too much credit.
Yeah, okay. Full vote on that, so, okay, before Mike gets too much.
All right.
Director Morris?
Yes.
Director Stover? Yes. Director Wooten?
Yes.
Director Morrison?
Yes.
Director Carlson? Aye.
There's 5 ayes or yeses on this. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Director Morrison. Thank you, Dr. Stokes, that you prevailed.
Thank you, I'm very excited. I love my last one.
Okay, now we move on to board information items and general managers to inform the board members and the staff. This would be the time that the board just talked about things and issues that they'd like to share with the other board directors, and we will do committee reports after that. So, would you like to start, Director Parker?
Yeah, I'm just going to use my voice, having a little PTSD. I really wanted to thank a couple of the other directors for being my alternate when I was not able to attend committee meetings, so I really appreciate that. And like I said, I did manage to listen to, I think, 3 out of 4 of the meetings, and they're great discussions. As I said, I'm really excited about some of the work that's getting done, will be done by Receive, California Conservation Corps. I volunteered with some of the California Conservation Corps a couple of summers ago, taking them whitewater rafting. They couldn't have been sweeter. I mean, I just felt like they were just so sweet, and I really want us as a community to welcome them and not just be like, great, you're doing something for labor or whatever for us. So, I think you might be the person that may get in touch with you at some point in the, invite them over for a barbecue. Talk to Mike. He's connected with their people. Yeah, I mean, it was, and I really wanted to thank, Kate, how do you say last name? I got Kate's right, I think I could have said it, but, I wanted to thank you for, meeting with me for a couple of hours Thursdays ago, and helping me have a deeper understanding of the CCNR system and process,
I'm thrilled to go to our committee. I love it, and it was really nice to be there. There's a lot of really good work that's happened. We'll talk about that in the committee report. I just really wanted to thank the staff for all the work on the cleanup of the parks. I know it's been an awful lot of work, and it shows. So, thank you very much to staff.
Director Reed?
I'd like to say thank you to Kate for helping me, the Department of Transportation, exactly loves me at this point, but I don't care. And I think we're making progress on a specific, goal of that. Thank you.
Director Scriven?
Well, I went to the local government workshop, and that was really great. I thank Jill and staff for putting that on. I mean, I think it has a lot of good information, and I learned a lot. I was a little concerned at first. It's like, man, I listened to this last year, but you always go because there's usually a gem or two that you pick up, and boy, there's a whole handful of them. So it turned out really good, and I'm just so excited that we are providing the service. And as Gerald pointed out, we are getting people from outside our community coming to our community center and kind of opening up people's eyes of, hey, look what we have here, look at that facility. So I think that was really super cool. I also went to the Cameron Park Design Review Committee that's appointed by the Board of Supervisors. I knew one of the committee members, and she invited me to come. So I just kind of sat there quietly and listened about what they're doing and what they're charged with and so forth. Let's see, they did a lot for the sign ordinance. It has not been adopted by the county yet, but it was presented here about a year ago, and so they're still working on getting, apparently, they were told that the county doesn't have staff at this point to go through and work with it, so I think that was, hopefully now they do, yeah. I also want to let all my fellow board members know I will not be here for the August meeting, and I will be on vacation. And I was also looking here on the table to check our strategy and goals, and I didn't see them here on the table. I was a little, are they in there? Did I miss them? They're not in my folder.
So, you have your,
No. So, I don't know, I was just looking for them. Do I bring them every time? Or they didn't be put on the table? I think I left mine. I don't know, I didn't.
We'll have some spares, maybe.
Okay. Yes, because I left mine last time. And anyway, because those are important, so we wanted, I just kind of was looking forward to kind of cross-referencing with our goals, so. And then just thanks to everybody. I think things are moving along. I really appreciate the public input. I think it's important that we have our community members here and holding our feet to the fire. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do.
well, I want to thank my fellow directors because everybody is doing their homework, really asking good questions, going to community meetings and getting ahead of it, they can't go, and make sure that they have a director who can replace them so that we can continue our business. And I think that's very important. So thank you, directors, for recommending all the work that you're doing today. I just wanted to mention, too, that Director Scobie and I will be going to the Rotary tomorrow. We're talking to the Rotary about our goals and objectives for this year, our financial situation, our grants, and we have some other opportunities with sponsorship and just answer questions. We'll be doing that tomorrow, and then next Thursday, I will be going with Tina to Michigan Spring Chamber Conference. So that's also good for us to hear now. Get that out. Any other directors want to go with me?
I'm an ambassador.
You are good. Will you be there already?
Which one?
Chamber Spring. A Chamber Conference.
Chamber of Commerce, later on this month.
Where?
Red Hot.
Red Hot.
Oh, I'll be there.
Okay.
Is it a daytime?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
11:30.
What date is that?
So,
What date is that?
that's March 27th.
Yep.
And I have a couple of things I forgot. Where are we? All right. This Friday from 4 to 8 at the Fairgrounds in Placerville is a business showcase event. We've never been to that. It's a really great event. There's a lot of food, there's a lot of wine, and it really, we're going to have a booth.
Yeah, Tina sent out an email to all of you.
Yeah.
You're all welcome to help us handle it.
It is a great event. It is the movie people, the people who promote the county to the movie industry. There's all kinds of interesting different people who show up at this event. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the Special District Leadership Academy Conference, and if the district is going to budget for a
Yes, so that's the next issue. So, the last thing that I wanted to bring up was, I will not be here for the July meeting. I will not be here for the July meeting. That's the no Wednesday there. And then, Saturday, March 23rd, the Red Cross is doing Sound AMR, and we're going to be in Placerville, and I'm going to be volunteering to install fire alarms in the Golden Park up there, and what's the name of it? Red. I know. So they're always looking for volunteers, if anybody's interested in that. That's great. And that is it, and the next thing we wanted to talk about, General Manager, is upcoming trainings and community meetings. So we talked about community meetings that we're going to attend, but upcoming trainings, that came out of the actual update last week from the local government policy meeting, that if we are interested in going into training of any sort, the board members should bring it to the board, and then we will vote on whether or not we can have that or support that. Okay, Jill, you want to give a little more on that?
Yeah, so there's two things that we learned at our, that we added to this agenda community members, community meetings that you were attending, so the full board was aware that you were attending a meeting on the district's behalf. Not that you could act as an individual, but you would be there. And then the other one is that if you were going to be attending any training. So I know that next week on Tuesday, we've got Denise attending the local government. I think that, Felicity, that was when you were able to attend.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so that should be good. A lot of the staff are going. This is a training that is sponsored by our insurer, SDRMA. Also, and this, I just wanted to acknowledge the first Wednesday in April, I can't remember the date, Rich Ramirez will be here, and he's our speaker for our next local governance workshop. Okay. And I just wanted to say before you turn it over to somebody else, Mike and I are not wearing masks and shirts because we coordinated today, but we volunteered at the California Parks and Recreation statewide conference that is being held in Sacramento today. So Tina was there as well, so that's why we have our
April 3rd,
Wednesday.
Director Carlson, go ahead.
No, I actually thought I probably should mention, I did attend a county board of supervisors meeting. I can't remember now. A couple days ago. Yesterday. Thank you. And I spoke on my own behalf and said that to Mike, but I did also identify myself as being a member of this board, but I was there to support the board of supervisors' efforts to examine the housing situation. It was good.
and I was at Justin Kylie hearing. And it was pretty good. Supervisor Chief was there also.
Thank you, directors, for being so active in the community as well. So that's another big kudos. Okay, assist in training, and you want to talk about the CSBA nomination?
So, I think that CSBA is seeking nominations for a position. And so if any of you were interested, we will send this information out via email. So if anybody is interested, just let us know. I can follow up. I think you and I spoke about it. It was in Sacramento.
Okay, great, let's go ahead and start with committee reports, and we'll start with LAFCO, Local Area Information Commission, Director Martin.
The thing about the last meeting, most of what happened is that we vote to extend the time that developers or communities requesting to get the work done in order to comply with whatever it is they're applying to have done. And so that's the reason we have to go to that meeting.
Market development.
Yeah, it's approving extensions, if there's annexations that are going on, someone needs particular service. So,
Do the extensions get approved, or?
most of the time, yeah. Yeah, because there are limits, so they have particular opportunities to extend. But it's not limited. So that's pretty much what's happening.
Okay, let's go to committee reports, budget and admin, Director Skibby.
Let's see, we brought forward to you the EID presentation, since we will be looking at a rate increase. We figured that we needed to get the board involved and invite them to, sooner than later, and the public involved. So we asked them to come to present this today. We also discussed other capital campaign in terms of how we could go about doing that, and we decided it was going to be a challenge. So as we flesh out some of those ideas, they'll be coming forward. We also discussed reserve policy, and because we are operating at a deficit, it's not quite appropriate at this time to establish a reserve policy, but we did want to discuss it and keep it on the radar, because it's something that we do want to bring forward in the future. And I think that was pretty much it. Do you have anything that we're going to say? You want to add?
No, I think the only thing about the capital campaign that you were discussing, and other ideas, that revenue generating opportunities, not just small, big scale type revenue generating, but larger ones, is that it takes a lot of research and time, and it takes a lot of staff time to do it. So that's one of the concerns, and so that's why we're going to continue to address that in every single one of the budget matters. Like we were talking about, in fact, the communities, they were great because they get to pitch in and give ideas as well. But we have been asked to pass, staff with the same question, and so we take information and so that's why we need to get this work. Okay, CPNR?
Rotates on the road quite often. Part of her vocation. I did come over the issue on Granite cul-de-sac. The girl, Oxford, over there. And she's working with them now. And it's kind of setting it ended up. They fix the potholes soon. No date. Soon. I'm hoping that's in the next month, but we'll see. And then they're going to do some paving, retaining holes in that area. And that'll be a little while. That generally means 6 months to a year. I'm sorry, but that's generally what a little while means to the department. And I did talk to the gentleman there. And hopefully it will help move soon a little earlier. She's done things since the last meeting, obviously, and she's got the numbers here.
Fire and emergency, Director Marcy?
So we covered actually quite a bit at our committee meeting. One of the main items was the information about the California Conservation Corps work project and how the district is utilizing this incredible, tremendous opportunity that we have for this team of workers to come in and assist our Brownsburg team and our own staff. As you may or may not know, they will be staying at Cameron Park Lake, camping at the Depot, and going to dinner at Director Woods. We talked about the Firewise community initiative. Very few communities get this distinction, and we're working toward that. Yeah, that would be great. Regarding the weed abatement program, for the improved lots portion, a new employee was hired, and I know that the interviews were going on for a second one, and the second one was hired. Great. So we have 2 employees for the unimproved lots and 2 for the improved lots. The postcard design is being completed for the improved lot program, and the first postcards were sent out February 14th for the unimproved lot program. So we are obviously looking forward to seeing how this is all going to work out with a tremendous staff, and I think just the timing of it all will be interesting. So we'll report on that next month as we meet some early deadlines.
Yes,
Rob, these are the postcards that they're
Oh,
sending out.
fabulous.
They should be going out within the next couple of weeks. They went to print
These are for the improved
Yeah,
lots.
you guys can take a look at
Unimproved lot postcards went out February 14th. So that's going to be interesting because,
That's just an example, they're hitting the plank, but they had to make a few adjustments on there.
hopefully the word has gotten
Michael
out.
Side.
Yeah.
We're
Those
leaning
cars out there
process.
quickly, doesn't end up in the recycling.
So they're a good size. This is not something that you're going to just miss in your mail. So, thank you. That's exciting. As we know, the contract was signed for the new engine for Station 89. 2 new trucks. Purchase has been approved. $14,000 was brought in at the craft meet, which was fantastic. And we're anxiously awaiting the results. Where are we? 20th of March. In another month, hopefully, the results of the California Climate Investment Fire Prevention Grant Program.
After April 1st.
After April 1st. That was written by the Cal Fire staff, with support from our staff. So, lots of important deadlines coming up here.
So, Marcy, go ahead and continue with
Parks and Rec, we discussed the construction warranty, that is all still in process, and I guess I was going to ask Jill if there's been any updates since the committee meeting. Still in process. Okay. Staff, as was mentioned earlier, staff attended a workshop on the Prop 68 statewide park development and community revitalization program. The purpose was to receive information about competitive grants that are available to the district for park improvement projects. We are in conversation about dogs being allowed in Cameron Park Lake. We have a survey that will drop, I think, April 1st. Maybe yes. It will go to all of our usual media locations, Facebook, Nextdoor, etc. And I believe Director Scobie and I are going to be working to broaden the impact. And we'll be visiting the lake and Hathaway Dog Park to meet with park participants for their respective locations.
We're going to Hathaway Dog Park, or are we just doing something?
I think Dog Park as well, to garner responses to people who already participate in one of our local parks, and would they also be interested in being able to walk the lake on leash. It's a different concept, operation on leash, but
Is this sign going back up on the dog park?
listen,
There's a very large sign that Mike put up. And,
Was it the orange one about the vandalism?
yes,
It got destroyed when a tree fell through the park. But
Well,
there was like a break in the
Yeah.
dog park.
we've had some incidents of people breaking into cars while having their dogs inside areas.
is it going to be replaced?
We haven't talked about it, but I feel like the lot across the street that got cleared out, and then all the property that the district's been working on around Hacienda, it's all cleared out. So I feel like the potential for someone to break in is minimized greatly. So at this point, I don't feel like we need to, because there's not really anywhere to hide. And,
Well, that was
So we'll
conversation
see
at
to
first.
determine.
yeah, but we can't,
Yeah.
you know.
Excuse me. That was my big concern. They have asked me, but if you feel that way, that's fine. You're probably right.
So we'll see if we need it. Yeah, we'll bring that up.
Thank you.
Okay, Director McCormick, Parks and Rec. then we go on to the Solar Energy Ad Hoc Committee. The chairman of that is actually a committee member, and we're not here today. So Eric, would you like to be the one to report back on the ad hoc? Yes, you would, that'd be great. It's on that.
We met, we talked, we had a grand time. Yes. Our last meeting, I was prepared. So, our last meeting, we set up our next meeting, which is March 28th, at which point the Director of Maintenance and Operations for the El Dorado Union High School District is going to come to us because the high school district is in the process of implementing a solar plan at all 4 high school locations. I got to go to the presentation that they gave at Ponderosa to hear the process. And so in that, both what they agreed to and a company that they hired to vet proposals was talked about. So Dan will be coming to our meeting to talk about that, answer some questions that we have, as well as introduce us to the information on the company that they use to vet proposals. So I'm really excited to hear from him. He's excited about the project that the high school is doing and has gone through a lot of the questioning process that we would do. So I think he can save us some good time in our process for that. I was encouraged too at our meeting, as you mentioned, that we talked about looking for grants and doing the process. And really enjoyed our meeting at El Dorado Hills CSD. Ken was really helpful out there. So I like the synergy that happens then when they say, hey, we can do our spreadsheet, you can plug in the numbers, just makes our process that much easier and more efficient. So I'm encouraged where we're at.
That was good. That's it.
You're welcome. And I'm done.
The community is welcome to the Solar Ad Hoc Committee meeting. So if anybody is interested, the community is welcome.
The reason, if I may add to this, the reason that we are looking at these other agencies who have implemented solar is that the board has a policy that if somebody else has done a competitive bid process for something that is very similar and we like the product, we can actually adopt what they have done. So we save time and effort because we are adopting somebody else's RFP process. So still a lot to determine on that, but that's part of why we're going out and looking at these other organizations, because we could simply, if we find something that's suitable for Heron Park, we can simply adopt what they have done.
I'm sorry, just one other comment that I'll bring to this, and I'll bring it to you.
Sorry, I didn't do my report topic. Just a footnote, I don't know how much it will impact us, but I encountered a little bit of community stirring over the solar installation at Ponderosa, and it might have been confined to a handful of people online, which those things tend to be. But there are some folks who were a little upset with cutting down trees at Ponderosa High, not knowing what was going on. Now, without getting into all of the specifics of that, that just tells me we want to continue to advertise our committee meeting. We want to advertise the plan and make sure that we are letting the community know, here's our process, here's what we're doing, so that if everyone comes back, we can say, well, this is what we did, we made it available, and everybody. I doubt we'll get the same kind of pushback, but.
It could be something else, and I think it's important.
Right. So that was just a key for me to say, let's continue to.
And the tree conversation is continued offline. I just
Oh.
probably reaches multiple meetings.
Okay.
And truthfully, Dan went through the same thing. They needed to that before he got it all together, everybody else was.
Okay.
And that's a pretty good sized project.
Okay, thank you. And Rick, should we do anything else? Yeah, the only other thing that came up is that we really tried to look closely into what our purpose of our meeting was, because there's both the solar aspect and then conservation aspect. So we were looking, really that we're looking more at a long-term solar operational, and that we can scoop up any, low-hanging fruit along the way as we're looking at that. But it's something that we are considering, but the big push is for the solar operational phase. Okay, that ends the committee reports, and now let's move on to public comment. At this time, members of the public may speak on any closed session agenda items. Closed sessions may be called as necessary for personal litigation and labor relations or to meet the negotiated requirements of purchase, sale, change, or lease of real property. Members of the public may address the board prior to closed meeting. Is there anybody who'd like to address the board at this point? Okay, seeing none, then we will convene to closed session. Thank you. For the record, I'm reading the items before we close. So you're ready to convene to closed session to do item number 1, pursuant to California Government Code 54957, B1. Consider the employment of employment of a public employee. Number 2, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to California Government Code 54956, B2. And then number 3, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9. Thank you. Now we will convene the closed session.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you will see in the seven. This is pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So let's move to adopt the agenda. Do you have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, let's move on to recognitions and presentations. We have a special presentation and recognition today. The recognition of Fire Captain Specialist Eric Fielder for excellent investigative work on behalf of Cameron Park. And Chief Moran will be leading the recognition.
Come on up here, Eric. So I am very pleased to introduce Fire Captain Specialist Eric Fielder for the recognition of all the hard work and dedication and commitment that he did on the arson fires that span the time of 2012 to 2016. If you were not aware, Eric, I'm going to call Eric from here on out for you. Eric was a fire captain, he was a fire apparatus engineer paramedic here in Cameron Park from 2011 to 2015. So, you know, worked on a medic unit in both engines 80 and 89. So he has a little bit of history here. So we'll start out with, in 2012, there were several units of Sierra Oaks apartments that burned, and there was also a laundry room that burned in another apartment building. Look at the next year, there was a day in 2013 where there were numerous vegetation fires that occurred in the field near the Sierra Oaks apartment. While firefighting resources were responding, and you get calls from everybody saying there's fires, and there was multiple fires, Eric was on his Navy with one of our Captain Toppy, and they were at the Sierra Oaks apartment. And so Eric walked along a pathway, and to the back, there's a large property, acreage back there with brush and grass. And he walked to the back of the apartment to get a view of, you know, what was going on. Heard some crackling nearby and looked over about 40 foot away, a small fire. So he, of course, stomps it, takes it, gets it out, and he turns around and heads back, you know, back to the apartment. And there was a man that was coming down the walkway, and once he saw Eric, he flipped around and went back to the apartment. That was the first time that, you know, he didn't know he started a fire, but that was the first time that that person had been seen.
So in 2013, after those fires, because of Eric's interest in learning what caused the fires, what started those fires, and because of the quality of the investigation, the report that he did, the fire captain specialist at the time, in the position he's in now, started recruiting him. And it's not an easy position to fill. It is a job that has a huge workload and requires a lot of commitment and tenacity to follow that case from beginning to end, to hopefully conviction, to get someone off the street that's a danger to the public. So he started recruiting him. So in 2015, Eric promoted to fire captain, and he was selected to attend the CAL FIRE Law Enforcement Basic Academy that we have in IOM. The next 22 weeks, Eric trained to become a law enforcement officer, and then he spent an additional 12 weeks applying that training as he handled real-life calls out in the field under the observation of an experienced training officer that's out there. CAL FIRE has roughly 200 police officers in the state, and we have 24-hour police officer powers, and we can and do enforce any law in California. And that's the life, or what his definition right now. That's what he wants to do. And he's in it 100%. So in 2015, when Eric got done with all of his training and his field training, he began working on the arson fires in Cameron Park, and that became one of his primary duties, to start working on those. In 2016, a person was witnessed lighting the Sierra Oaks apartment building on fire. Michael Davis was identified as the person who started the fire and was subsequently arrested. These fires, in 2012, they were typically structure fires, so the subject lit structure fires, and then switched over to vegetation fires, and then around 2015, he started doing a combination of structure fires and vegetation fires. All these fires had a significant potential to injure or kill and create significant property damage. There was a 3-acre, at one point there was a 3-acre fire in that brushing field behind Sierra Oaks Apartments, which we know there's homes all the way around that. And thank goodness, a lot of these fires were lit at night, and your humidities are up, and the fire potential is less. And so that fire had a lot of potential. And then there was another fire that he lit. It was the outside wall of a building where his girlfriend was inside sleeping. So this guy was, very disturbed, as all arsonists are. So during Eric's involvement with the arson fires, he spent countless hours investigating the fire origins, so the cause of fires, report writing, interviewing witnesses, and providing surveillance to the area. And unfortunately, we never know when a fire or where a fire is going to start. So putting clues together, Eric worked to be present in the area without really being noticed, and that's what there's different levels of surveillance, but he has a way of being in the public without being noticed, and that's his job, is there to keep the public safe, right? To be looking out for something to happen. And I can tell you from experience that it can be very frustrating and almost discouraging when you're in that area day after day, or however long you're doing it and nothing happens. But it's that tenacity and that dedication to continually know, because the minute you're not there, something will happen and you'll miss it. So I always put him in the area so when something did happen, he could respond, quickly, and try and get another piece of that puzzle to put together for this case, because arson is one of the toughest crimes to prove. And so people don't typically light a fire in front of you, they'll let this happen sometimes. So because of Eric's dedication, along with a couple of his partners, and I'll mention them, there was Nate Barkley, who's his battalion chief that currently is working in the unit and gets seen and is actively doing fire prevention here. Gianni Machado, who now works in Sacramento, but he was the bureau chief here. Michael Davis was charged with 21 counts of arson, pled no contest to 11 of the 21 counts, and was sentenced to 13 years and 8 months in state prison. Of the 11 counts, there were 2 structure fires and 9 vegetation fires that he was charged with. So Eric is here for you guys to talk to. We obviously don't get into specific tactics of things that we do, but you can certainly answer questions that you want to talk to him about. As you know, Eric, he doesn't do this for the recognition, as do a lot of our folks. And it's limited, because how often, this doesn't happen really often. You can
get it, track it all the way through, and actually get a conviction that took a dangerous person off the street to protect you guys. So I know you'd much rather be digging in the dirt, trying to find the cause of the fire right now. Probably he's right here, but he's here. And you guys know that I truly believe that one of the reasons that he really stuck with this is the passion and the ownership that he had in Cameron Park from working here and, you know, in his career. So to come back and continue to put that dedication here in a community that he has spent time in. And these guys, when they're here and they leave, they still, Cameron Park is their fire department. And I see that all the time. I see that, like I said, that ownership of being here. So I'll go ahead and, you guys want to make this?
I think we should give him a skin
So in the back is my wife Mandy, my son Nate, and then my other son Brian.
Do we get a picture?
We'd like the family to come up. Okay. Then we can ask you, congratulations, right? Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Yes. Come on up. To the wall, not the door. And no trash in the door. With that fire alarm in it. There you go.
Thank you. Great job.
And one more. Hey, where's she? Chief Lundgren, you want to come up, and Chief Moran, too? We want everybody to. Come on. There you go. They were too wide. Too wide. We'll be family. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do one up and down. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do one this way. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And did I take it with everybody's picture? Do you want? Yep. You're good? Okay. We'll share. Thank you very much. Thank you. Great job. Thank you, family, as well. Can we have a representative from the director?
I get it.
I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
So when, in 2012, when you saw this happen, oops, sorry. I was going to go here. When you saw this happen, did you decide then that you wanted to be an enforcer?
Well, 2012 were the structure fires
Yeah.
here. I didn't see those. I saw the structure fires or the vegetation fires in 2013 in North Cameron. No, I did not think anything of it. Was that hadn't really crossed my mind. I didn't really start thinking about it for probably about another year until Tom Oldak, the previous fire captain specialist, kind of approached me about it. Started getting in that direction, and here I am.
And how do you hide from the public? You're so tall.
Not a lot. I had a plane sight.
I mean, it was just happenstance, right?
Yeah, that particular fire, I was just in the right place at the right time. Yeah, and then I think what Tom really liked was the interviews I did after that.
Yeah.
I didn't get there for a while, so I conducted the interviews with witnesses that actually saw him also going in and out of the brush. And so Tom was impressed with that. So that's why that shoved me.
Well, it's pretty terrifying to think we have that mentality in all of our communities.
Oh, absolutely.
And so thank you so much
No problem with that.
for our entire community.
Yeah,
Great job.
along with Holly on the Fire and Emergency Services Committee, and obviously the big fires that we've had recently in California has brought it to our attention what dangerous Cameron Park has been, even though probably you all knew that already. And I remember, maybe like you, I had a little baby around 2012, and I remember these fires were just a little odd, but now it's really magnified how dangerous they really were. So thank you so much for protecting the community.
Thank you. Is there any other? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that was fun now. Oh, I think Sherry has one more. Okay.
So good news about the grant, got it? To my knowledge, although there's some other possible grants in the county that other entities might get, this is the one for the CSI grant that was awarded. So more information to follow. We're going to give you guys more details, and obviously the funding doesn't come until November, but I just wanted to finally give you the final official word that we're really excited about that. So.
How much?
$336,000, and broken into two projects. We'll have the field production and the fire prevention education outreach that we'll have for the community. So we've got it broken down, detailed out, and they'll be working on plans, to go through to, when the money's there, we'll be ready to start spending it.
Wow. Great job.
Did we
And
get,
thank you, Chief James, too.
Yes, that's the thing. He's put in a ton of work, and then the work obviously being done on Pine Hill Preserve is fantastic, because that's going to tie right in exactly what we'll do with the grant money, and just continue that on, making us fire safe here.
So we got the entire amount, yes.
Oh, yes.
Nice. Great job. Great job, thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and then go on to approval of consent agenda. Conform agenda, the board of directors meeting for March 20th. Do we have approval on that?
No, the consent, no.
Oh, consent, sorry, there's the consent agenda, the whole thing. Do we have anybody who wants to pull anything at this time, or? Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, then let's move on to the next. We have open forum for non-agenda items. Members of the public may speak on any item not on the agenda that falls within the jurisdiction of the board of directors. Comment during the open forum is limited to 4 minutes per person. Public testimony will be received on each agenda item as it is called. Principal party on each side of the issue, where applicable, is allocated 10 minutes to speak. Individual comments are limited to 4 minutes, except with the consent of the board. Individuals shall be allowed to speak on an item only once. The board reserves the right to waive said rules by majority vote. For the public's information, we are now taking no request for future notification of Community Service District B. Now, the forum is open for anybody who'd like to speak. For a non-agenda item, nobody wants to speak? Let the record show this might be a first. Then let's move on to general business. We do not have any items moved from the consent agenda for discussion, so we will move on to number 7 and receive and discuss fiscal year 2018-19 third quarter financial report.
Good evening. First, I'd like to do a small presentation to go over a mid-year adjustment summary before I get to the main part of my report. This is the handout that we brought forward just before the budget meeting. Just before the board meeting. Everybody has a copy of that?
Yeah, Doug?
Some of you had questions when I was mentioning the call earlier this week, and so we just wanted to refresh everybody's memory.
Okay, the first statistic I'd like to report is the final budget deficit that we passed in September of 2018. This is the original final budget deficit was $376,666. Mid-year, in January of 2019, we passed mid-year budget, and with that mid-year budget, we passed not only capital investments, but we also passed an expected operational savings of $237,256. That brought our budget, our final budget adjusted for operational savings to a deficit of $139,410. Then with the capital investments that were approved at mid-year, those totaled a deficit of $188,493. That's net revenues and expenditures. For a final adjusted budget deficit in mid-year January of 2019 of $327,905. Nice to those dollars. And I would like to answer any questions that we have about this summary.
Does any of the directors have any questions?
No, if I recall, we did go on.
I just want to make it clear from my understanding, the final budget adjusted for operational savings is actually a deficit, operations deficit that we're working under now, $139,400. Operational.
Operational, yes, that's correct.
And then the 188 is capital, so that's still.
That's correct.
I bring that up because that's obviously what we're working on, operations.
Again, that's only for 19, but 18, 19.
Right, that's correct.
So it won't be that next year.
Right.
So I think I was.
Okay, is there anything else for Vicki? All right.
Okay, then I would like to get the big presentation. I'll get to that now. As we just discussed, the operating savings and investments in capital and improvements at mid-year decreased the budget deficit by about $50,000 or about 15%. Projections appear to support a year-end budget near the budgeted year-end. Revenues are tracking low, but a lot of those revenues are seasonal. For example, pool and day camp and lake passes. They are expected to come in at year-end, but right now, as they're seasonal and summer kinds of revenues, we haven't approved them as yet. Additional weed abatement revenues from liens. Right now, we're running less than budgeted, but we may receive more revenue in the April tax payment that comes. Staff will be evaluating the success of collecting these fees and may adjust the revenues in next year's operating budget. Staff is actively seeking summer spectacular sponsorships, and a few commitments have been made. Personnel expenditures are generally on track, although permanent salaries are high and part-time salaries are low. And this is basically an accounting code anomaly where the part-time salaries are being recognized as permanent salaries, and then a certain category of part-time salaries, those part-time salaries that are under 20 hours, are being recognized as part-time salaries. So that has created an anomaly between the two accounts, but together they're at about 66% expended. As the supervisors and managers work to stabilize the workforce and transition from the temporary agency to existing staff, and as well as to address workload issues, overtime was accrued. This should not occur in the next fiscal year, as the district is allowing for an option comp time instead of overtime pay as the workforce stabilizes. The most important or significant operational savings at this time is election savings of $8,000 and maintenance vehicles of about $8,500. The election savings is a result of operational changes. We don't have an election next year, or this year. And maintenance vehicle, we do have an election this year, but it came out lower than expected. Maintenance vehicle savings is a result of in-house skilled staff. We have additional variances up or down among the budget accounts. And these variances are driven by the transition from the old finance system to the new, as well as staff learning new account codes and the way the accounting software works right now. There are also variances driven by operational changes. Staff continue to learn about the district's operations and costs, implement operational efficiencies, address overdue projects, and learn 2 new software systems that track expenditures and revenues. This knowledge and experience should improve our budget development next year and future years. And that is basically my presentation, and now I'm open for questions.
Can I take it to the directors, if anybody has a question? Director Carlson, Director Morrison?
So I'd like to know where we are with our, I heard you ask about our summer spectacular status.
And Vicki just mentioned some sponsors. Do you know what the number is?
I do not know the number right off the top of my head.
About, just under $20,000 at this point in sponsorship for the summer spectacular from 3 entities. We have a list, some folks have seen the list and contributed to the list. We have a list of about probably 35 or 40 local folks and some outside of the area that we are actively soliciting. 2 weeks ago at the staff meeting, we divided up the list because Kate knows a couple of vendors, and so she's going to approach them. I know some vendors, Mike Grassley has relationships with some, and so does Tina. So we divided up the list, and we are actively seeking and contacting those folks. So I have one solid no, but I will help them this way, 3 confirmed yeses, and I think on my list I still have about 6 folks that I need to follow up with. So they're coming in.
And these are cash sponsorships.
This is cash.
Because there are times that count too, but cash is what we are.
Cash is our
And so what has been our average? What was our amount last year?
I'd have to get back to you on that. I would say probably 30,000, if that sounds familiar to board members. Okay.
That sounds high.
That sounds high? Okay.
I think we had a lot of in-kind, but not as much
Cash, okay. Yeah. So in this year, we had a very concerted effort to do cash. We met with Uncle Bank today, and they left with a flyer and some solicitations. So anyway, so we are actively, as we see folks, we are giving out that flyer for cash. And those that, like the no that I got, it was that, and actually I've gotten a couple of no's, but they would like to help in another way, and so we're still working with them to find that common ground so that they can either give cash or they can support the event in another way. Does that answer your question?
Sort of.
Okay.
And so we had talked about not putting all of those signs around the lagoon.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a plan for that for this year?
I don't have a specific plan, and a lot of it depends upon, so if you look at the sponsorship flyer that we've created this year, there are different things, actually not creating, so you get different things depending upon the level that you give. I don't remember what the banner is on that. But, you know, I think that we have to be more thoughtful. So somebody that gives in kind wouldn't necessarily get a banner, because you would need to give, I think, what's the minimum for a banner on there, Ellen? $1,500, or is it more than that?
1,500.
1,500. So somebody would have to give 1,500 cash to have that banner.
Yes, I don't have a problem in kind being recognized, because we are such a small community. I mean, we are vastly, Park Drive, you know,
Oh, yeah, I mean, we want to recognize everyone, you know, and so there, I think that we will try to find other creative ways.
I just wonder if there have been a decision.
There hasn't been a
I think
specific.
it's a good idea, just to recognize anybody who gives anything.
Okay.
Because it's like, oh, I've got an in-home daycare, or I've got an in-home canine rodent care business, and we have other people working from home that wouldn't necessarily have a brick and mortar storefront to be able to pay for people. I didn't know if there had been a step.
Yeah. Our intent is not to exclude anybody who is supporting our event. Our goal is to incentivize those people who give cash. So.
And in kind stuff can offset expenses, so I think that's always a good thing too. So depending on what that is and what kind of,
Because
optional ideas.
Somebody donated porta potties, it would be considered cash.
I have a question about 4,400 reimbursement. Is that a new category? I'm assuming that's for cell phones and mileage. Is that what reimbursement is?
A good example of, yes, that was it.
Is that a new category?
That is revenue category reimbursement.
I think it's good to track that.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to know where our money's going, and it's a monthly thing with our employees, our cell phone and clothing and mileage and education.
You're speaking about the expenditure reimbursements. This is a revenue reimbursement.
Okay. It says revenues and expenditures, so I wasn't sure. That's revenue?
Yes, that is.
So what would that be?
That would be reimbursement for services, and the example I was going to give you went right out of my head, Holly, right? But that is the reimbursement for services rendered that we are being reimbursed for.
Okay. And the 4410, the meat abatement, that is both the combination of both programs for salaries for 4 employees, plus the amount of money we have approved for clearing of properties.
That is a combination, again, it's a revenue, and it's a combination of the mid-year adjustment of $83,000, and then some.
From what?
So, I think I can help with this a little bit, I think.
Please.
Okay. So, all the 4,000s are revenue accounts, and so 4410 is revenues associated with the weed abatement program that we think we are going to receive either from direct billing or liens. So we had.
This is our budgeted amount.
That we're going to think we're going to receive.
just through March. So, this is just for the unimproved lots?
So no, it's for both the improved and the unimproved. If you remember, we had additional funding allocated for the improved lots as well. I don't know that we are going to go forward, in fact, I know we're not going to go forward with abatement on any improved lots this year. We're more into an education program. But you still have, in your expenditure side, you have allocated money for abatement activities. And so we'll work with Chief Smith and the weed abatement specialist to identify properties. I think what is most notable to the board is that this is the first time we're doing this. We were uncertain how successful we're going to be in getting payment either through direct billing or through liens, and we're learning that now. As you can see, it's not much. We'll know more after the April taxes.
I'm surprised at the 94,000. I don't remember approving that number.
Yeah, it's a big number. There may be something
We only
else.
abated $30,000, and there were, plus fees for the mailings, and I don't know how it got to $95,000.
Well, what I'm going to have to do is pull the specifics on the budget to look at what comes up with that number, and we can certainly get back to you. I know that the fire committee, we just worked on that program budget. We looked at that last month, so I just don't have the details to give you at
If
this
you could
point.
bring that to fire committee, that would be great. It just seems high. We only had $30,000 budgeted for unimproved lots.
Well, we increased it at mid-year. I know at least another 30, so
But then
$1,000.
yes, we did.
yeah, we did.
For
So,
unimproved,
yeah.
but this includes improved as well?
Yes.
So Director Morrison, I agree, I think that should go to the fire committee.
Yeah.
Okay, because we also need to have, we have offsetting expenses which go with it. So
Yeah.
we have 90,000 of offsetting expenses, or is that
Right.
no revenue? So
So,
that's
okay,
okay.
so that's good.
So we can take a look at that and report back. But we did look at the program budget this last fire committee.
Thank you.
Do you have any other?
Staff development 5455, if you could speak to that.
That's a combination of CPR training, intrepid marine training, as well as the HVAC training that we currently Mike went on it.
Right, so that would include his travel and his experience, yeah?
Yes, as well as the respectful workplace presentation.
I'm sorry, what?
The respectful workplace training and service.
Okay, great. So I'm happy to see money going towards staff training. We have not spent money on staff training, so it's important. But it just, it seems a bit lopsided.
That number jumped out at us too, that's why we know what's in there.
Yes, so. What else? Any other comments Vicki you would like to make?
No,
On
at this
anything
point.
that you're concerned about or that you're tracking?
I continue to track the whole budget.
The CalPERS 5160, the CalPERS numbers seem reasonable. Are you feeling more comfortable and confident with that program?
That's where we are current actual to date. And as far as total salaries and benefits, if you look at total salaries and benefits, because you've got some accounts that are over, some accounts that are under. If you look at total salaries and benefits, you're 81% expended, so I think you're on track.
Okay. That's good, that's good. I know there was a lot to learn.
And I continue to learn.
Good. And I have to see here, I thought it looked like I saw 2 fire fees. So, what's the fire marshal plan review? And what's the difference in that and the fire, 5290, the fire prevention and inspection?
Fire marshal plan review are revenues that come from fire marshal activities.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
yes. That we charge local businesses and,
You're correct.
construction.
You're
Okay.
correct.
Okay. I'm good. Thank you.
Director Wooten, do you have any?
Fine.
Director Skinner.
So your statement, we're learning about the budget, and we have things that were, coded here, we've learned this year, really should be coded here, so that explains a lot of the, discrepancies. But my concern is when we start doing budget comparisons year over year, how are we going to handle that? Because it's going to look like an anomaly next year when we set these side by side. So do you have a strategy on how we're going to deal with that?
There's really not necessarily a good strategy. What I do in building the budget is I do account analysis because I can't count on prior year right now. So that's how I deal with my budget development. Tracking it over time, at least for the next 2 to 3 years, is going to be difficult.
And often what we do, there will always be variations amongst the accounts, especially on your services and supplies, depending on what project you're doing or what, new fee you have or something like that. So we always try to kind of sometimes jump to the bottom line, like what Vicki just did with summarizing salaries, so summarizing services and supplies.
There's like operational changes that happen during the year, and so you get those variances. So you can't really guard 100% against them. Yes, we would like to have less of them, and we will over time.
Thank you.
So Vicki, can you speak a couple questions and then speak to the audit on that a little bit, because we're doing an audit, and some of that auditing will help to guide us the last couple of years. So we have 2 years of audit. So these will happen. So if you want to speak to the audit a little bit.
We just got a draft audit report for 16-17. 17-18 is just beginning. The audit for 17-18 is just beginning. But without having the report in front of me, I'm not going to be able to give you numbers. I can tell you that it doesn't appear as though we consumed fund balance in 16-17. We did nominally, let's put it that way.
We'll look at the report and when should we expect that final report?
The final report probably, we're just now reviewing the draft, so I would expect that it's still a month or so out, because
So
we'll have to.
hopefully by our June meeting, maybe? That would be
Perhaps.
That would be really nice. We obviously have been working in the dark. We
Yes.
had audits that were not completed by previous administration. The board was not happy, and so we know that this is progress, but
You need to see. I understand. I understand.
we have no idea. I understand what you came into and to try to sort this out with general manager and your staff, and so I know it will clear up a lot for you. So I know the board's looking forward to see those final audits for the last few years, just served.
So Vicki, just a couple of other questions. This is a new format, report format, for third quarter, so this is good. I think though, heard the motion brought up, I think it would be good for the public and for us to have revenue and then expenses. So it's
Yes, and I think that might have got cut off when I put
Yeah, okay.
it together.
And then,
Because it normally says that revenue and expenditures, that got me a little bit off guard as well.
So can you get those to us? Can you see if that got cut off, and if so, get it to us? As we go into our
It's just,
budget?
it's just the term revenue and.
Yeah, it's,
Oh, just the term?
yeah.
Okay.
The whole report is. So can you speak to
this
this?
other income real quick, because that's just in the other income line that you have here right now, budgeted, $39,295 million, and today we only have $1,400. What is the other?
That other income is income that's going to be transferred from, it has been, excuse me, transferred from the county, and it's coming to us. It's just that it's being slow being recognized.
And that's a one-time only.
Yes, one time only. Yes, ma'am.
The Quimby and the.
Yeah, it could be, I'd like to see it.
The Quimby is another one time only.
Yes, yes, these are the sets together.
No, the Quimby is up here. These are the ones that had a local fire.
Oh, fire.
Yeah,
Which is account that we collect.
Oh, those are that, okay, good.
I think that's what I think.
Is that correct? All right, good. And one time only. Make that clear, because that's not income that we have to look at as a board, it's not income that's going to come back for the next budget year. Okay,
But you want to spend what we've got. Okay.
Yes,
Quimby.
yes. You want to recognize what you get and
Yeah.
not on the if.
Right.
okay, thanks. Is there any, before you're done, no more questions from the directors, is there anybody from the audience who would like to speak on this on the agenda item?
Thank you.
Sure, can you come up with the podium?
My name's Paul Gilchrist. I was just looking at the finances, and forgive me, this is my first meeting. When I was looking at it, I was, from my business experience, I'm accustomed to seeing a little bit different format on the reporting as far as being able to articulate favorable to budget, unfavorable to budget, and having columns that are in there to say, here's my budget through this point in the quarter, and then are you favorable or unfavorable to it? This is just, it's taking me a little bit of time as a citizen to wrap my head around how it's being reported. Maybe it's new, but just a food for thought.
Vicki, did you want to speak to that, or is it part of the program that we have?
This is the traditional way that we do the reporting. As you know, from the top of the header of the report, it's through 75% of the year. So when you look at your percentages, anything over 75% is an overage, and anything under 75% for the year is an underage. That's typically how we present it.
I do believe it's a challenge because we're seasonal, so we do know that coming up in the next 3 months is the bulk of our revenue and also our expenses. So that's probably another, is that correct? Seasonal?
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that up.
And I was just, it was just a new way of looking at it for me, and I used to work in the food industry for Del Monte, it was very seasonal, and it was always, in my professional business career, things were reflected as favorable to budget, as unfavorable, and a method that really categorizes, and you can group, say, all your payroll into one group, knowing canning season happens in the summer, and, or when I was at PG&E, we had great fluctuations and so forth, but it was always presented in a way that was favorable to unfavorable, and you recognize where you were based on your business cycle. And so it's just, for me, coming from the public, it's a shift, and it's unfamiliar to me. That's all.
Thank you, we appreciate it, we're glad that you're looking at that.
So, Paul, is that what it would say? It would be a column of favorable and unfavorable, and like a Y and an N?
For example, what you would have is Q1, and you might have all of your payroll expenses, and in Q1 it would say the budget, and then you have a column that would say you're either favorable to budget, or the next column that you're unfavorable, and it would also have a column that would be in there that would say, here's my year-to-date, so you're looking at quarterly, and then also each quarter as it goes through, you're able to see quarter by quarter, and then you're able to see if you're favorable or unfavorable to budget. And so that's how it's done. Just put in a landscape type format on page so that it runs through and you get a good look throughout the year and just able to understand the fluctuations. Again, a
So
different way
instead
of
of
looking at it.
having an alphabetical, you'd have all budget in one place, and
No.
how would you?
It's a column.
It's like, so you might lump all your payroll expenses in one area.
Right, that's
So
what
you might have your cost for electricity and
Right.
gas and electric. And then you might have your special events and so forth, and just the way you're looking at it. I'm trying not to be critical.
Categorize.
Thank you, is there any other comments from the floor? Okay, that's great, then we'll go ahead and wrap this up, and we'll move on to item number 8, which is review and approve CCNR violation enforcement imperative.
I'm here tonight to present to the Board of Directors a proposal for establishing CCNR violation enforcement rights.
You know, we set mine on.
Maybe I'm just too short.
I don't do that. No, I don't think it's on.
Good night.
This is soft voice.
I will try to
You want to hear you?
The purpose of this proposal is to establish a framework for providing guidance to staff for managing workload, especially since we're coming into the summer months now when the volume of complaints increases significantly. I want to be prepared to address these violations in the best manner possible to provide the best service to the residents of Cameron Park. This came about as as part of the February CCNR meeting. I brought up to the CCNR committee some of the challenges with parking enforcement, different types of parking enforcement. And through that conversation, the committee asked me to draft a set of priorities for us to kind of start. It's the starting point for establishing how we're going to address as many violations, as many types of violations as we can in the best possible way. Had a slide there. Main focus for this program is to protect and preserve property values. That is the intent of CCNR. And that's where I need to try to stay focused. There's a lot of concerns throughout the community that need to be addressed, but we need to stay focused on that. Violation, these are just some tidbits about violations and things submissions. Staff typically receives anywhere from 3 to 10 complaints a day. And that adds up, over the course of the week. All complaints have to be verified by staff before we can start enforcement action. So that requires staff going out and personally observing each and every violation and then deciding how and if we proceed with enforcement. Some of the complaints that come through the office do not fall within the realm of CCNR. And the authority provided to me is specific to what the CCNR stipulate that I can do. So I can't enforce things that are not in the CCNR necessarily. It's also good to know that complaints received by phone, email, website, or walk-in we do accept anonymous complaints. So sometimes the information that comes in does not provide all the information that I need. So oftentimes there's additional research that has to be done to figure out exactly what the situation is. And I may not be able to contact the person who has submitted the complaint if they haven't provided contact information.
Okay, Kate, I just want to make sure that staff means you.
Yep. I think that's for the record for future generations. Now, the need to improve efficiency and productivity, capacity, has also been worked on from the internal level. A big part of that was the purchase of our software program. This program is going to enable, it's going to take a lot of the manual work out of things. I can prioritize, I can manage cases and how I respond to them based on priority if I've got some sort of priorities established. It creates maps so that I can chart my route more efficiently. It captures all the information in one place, and it also has a follow-up on there so that I can set follow-ups and see where I need to be and when I need to be there. Previously, all this was done manually, and in the height of summer, when you have about 120 active complaints, very difficult to manage. The software is also designed to be used remotely, which means that I can be out in the field more often. So the focus on creating more efficiency is internal as well as what we're actually doing out there. So I have drafted the priorities as you see them up on the highest priority will be any situation where non-compliance to applicable CCNRs may pose a risk of safety. These could be things, anything that obstructs roadways, there's landscaping that is obstructing my site. If it is the middle of summer and somebody is concerned with a fire danger, I will of course address that first and then determine if it's something that can be handled on the CCNR level or if it needs to be referred out. If there is an active or imminent danger, then of course I would contact the proper authority immediately. And all of those, with the exception of Child Protective Services, I have at one point or another had to contact all of those agencies for one reason or another. Under medium priority, you're going to see the bulk of what we have. The order there doesn't matter in terms of it's intentional. If the objective of maintaining property values, we want to look at things like property maintenance deficiencies, or houses that have kind of fallen into disrepair, debris accumulations in front of properties, RV boats, trailer and commercial vehicle parking. That is a big deal, and it's also one of the most common complaints that I receive. Landscaping and yard maintenance, when the CCNRs address that, your inoperable vehicles, and then property improvement projects that have not received architectural committee approval. That's both. That's what most of them are. And then when we look at the lower priority items, those are trash receptacles aren't necessarily difficult to enforce, but many of the parking, and this is what kind of started this whole thing, the parking violations are sometimes hard to enforce because they're mobile. People's mobile, they come, they go, and then sometimes it's a matter of interpretation, and then any other CCNR violation. Now, the fourth category that you will see are some of the many calls that I receive through the CCNR office. Some may address in the CCNRs for a neighborhood, but many of those are actually better addressed by other agencies. Be it animal control or parking dog safety, so I have a program for that. Abandoned vehicles, I don't have the enforcement tools for that, but the Sheriff's Department does. It doesn't mean that I won't if I'm able to enforce from the CCNR level, but it may be more effective to either concurrently engage other agencies or refer out depending on the situation. And again, those would be to my best of my ability, verify when the calls come in, and then each of those will be prioritized depending on what it is that occurs.
Okay. So you said that most of the complaints come in the medium priority category?
Correct.
Now, does your program allow you to actually subdivide that category so that, I mean, if you end up with 100 complaints and 90 of them are medium, it doesn't really help you with your sorting, your priority very much. So does it allow you to subcategorize it?
That's a good question. I can prioritize by medium priority, but then I can also sort by the type of violation.
Okay.
So I can, sort by degree violation. And part of the coding process is to try to have uniform coding across the CCNRs whenever possible so that I can see those quickly. Does that answer your question?
I'm going to follow up if I can with that question. And can you listen and give us your presentation and we'll ask questions?
The benefits of setting priorities include setting expectations for the public. This is an interest in being transparent and having the community understand the expectations for when there is something to be addressed. Provide guidance for staff. If I have, if I have a lot of different complaints, is it a matter of coming first come, first serve, or do we prioritize based on the impact on the community? And it should also increase the level of enforcement consistency, which is definitely something that it needs to be improved. And again, greater transparency. So the outcome that we're working towards is to provide some guidance to staff. The intent is not to address fewer complaints or types of complaints, but actually designed and intended to find a path to address more. I ran this by legal to make sure that I was going to be on the right track and make sure that I wasn't going to in any way forfeit or put in jeopardy the district's ability to enforce all CCNRs now or in the future. And by establishing CCNRs, it does not, or by establishing services, it does not. Again, posting the priorities on the website so that it's made public to the residents of Cameron Park for the purpose of setting expectations and transparency. This also aligns with the work plan of the board of directors as far as providing information, more informational pieces for the public. This is not, at this point, a change in policy or procedures. I will continue to work with the CCNR committee to update our policies and procedures that were originally drafted back in 2000.
Is that it? Thank you. Okay, the being done, take directors. Director Wooten.
How long is it now taking for the DOT to answer your call?
Well, they answered my call, it took about a week and a half or 2 weeks, but they said that for the specific issue that you're referring to, 3 to 6 months before they're going to be up.
3 to 6 months.
Director Carlton, did you have a question?
It was really the same, Director Scobie, but I like this set of prioritizations as a way to focus staff time. And at the same time, it's the complaints that you receive the most of are all ranked medium. I'm assuming you're going to use your judgment depending on maybe the time of year or whatever as to which ones you're going to pursue.
Well, and again, that order was intentional.
Oh, wait, that's right. Okay.
So that, primarily that is what I will follow. And you're right, depending on the season, some things are going to rank to the top of that.
there is, going to be a level of discretion that needs to apply to this position. This is to provide framework because of the scope and the wide breadth of calls that I get, complaints that I get, looking to have some guidance, some well-established guidance as to what I need to be focusing staff resources on.
Director Morrison, do you have any questions?
I think my main question, we talked about this a little bit, is your comfort level with the program and your satisfaction with the
The software program?
Yeah.
The software,
Amazing.
the software program is great, and it's amazing how much it's going to improve this program. It's a matter of building it initially, and then, of course, as I start putting the first cases in, then we figure out the bugs that we need to work through. A little bit of real-life beta testing along the way, but I think we worked most of those out now. But once the